Hello Cruising World, Mick the Suit Guy with you. Today we're going to take a look at Fly2Fun. What is that, you may ask? Well, this is Carnival's flight offerings coming in and out for a cruise. I'll be the first to admit, back in the day, I never even was interested in this because as I knew it, it was always, they gave you the worst choices of flights and they wouldn't let you know about it until closer to the time. And you know, you'd have 2 or 3 stops and you couldn't do it in advance. It was just looked like a nightmare to me, so I was never interested. And then I heard that it was a lot better. And then one of my friends, Tim's coming in with us to Australia, so next April. So we were looking at the options and I looked it up for him. And it was actually very, very reasonable and very good and lots of different options. So, you know, you can now book it in advance. You got choices. Now the one drawback is that you can only book like basic economy, and they will tell you that you can't call until closer to the time to contact the airline to change it. But Tim called the airline immediately. He booked it and was able to get himself an aisle seat and this, that and the other. So while I can't guarantee that every airline will be able to do that, some do. So I think it's not a bad thing, and the price was very competitive. It wasn't overly expensive. So I'm just going to walk you through how to do it on online, and you be the judge. I'm not going to say to do it or not to do it. I'm just going to give you the explanation of how it works and what your options are. I am not, don't quote me on this video, that I said you could call the airline right after and make changes to it. I guess if in doubt, call the airline, explain what you're about to do, and see if they know you can. I know Tim could. So, but if you're happy with just an economy seat, boom. This is the one for you. If you're like me, when I fly long distance, like when I go to England or anywhere with a long flight, I'm 6'4". I have long legs. I have to have leg room. So I always purchase the emergency exit, and if I can't get it, I'm not on that flight. To me, that's cheaper than the premium economy and more leg room. For what it's worth. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. Have a look at this. This is how Fly2Fun works. You be the judge. All right, the first thing we are going to do is go to carnival.com. You're going to select the cruise you want from your cruises on the right-hand side. If you have more than one, you'll just click the drop box there and select the cruise you want. We're looking at a 6-day Eastern Caribbean cruise on Carnival Vista. On the left-hand side where it says categories, you're going to click on that, as you can see here. And at the bottom, all the options are going to come up. We're looking at Fly2Fun on the bottom right where the big blue arrow is. You're going to select that. And then you're going to come up with this screen. You're going to select the booking. It's just confirming the booking number for that cruise. I whited it out, but it would be there where that red arrow is. And then underneath that, where the blue arrow is, you're going to click on search flights. Now you're going to come to this screen where you can put your options, who's flying, what departure and return options you want. I'll show you that in a second. But first, we're going to select both of us. You don't have to do both. You can just do one or the other. On the choose your flight options for the direction, you can do a round trip, one way, either there or back. We're going to select departure and return for this example because I'm trying to show you how to do everything here. For the maximum stops, you can do non-stop, any up to 1 stop, up to 2 stops. Obviously, non-stop's preferable, but we're going to put any in just to show you, again, the different options. And then for the airlines, if you have a specific airline you like to use, I mean, we like to use Southwest because 2 bags fly free. And with all the suits I have to take and shoes, etc., I need a lot of bags. So that can save me a lot of money if I'm flying. But for this argument's sake, or for this example, we're going to take all. Now, there is also an option you saw on the page before. It said fly with friends. I'm going to be honest, I haven't worked that out because every time I click on it, it just says, sorry, no itineraries were found. I'm not sure if you could call Carnival and do that. I tried asking around several people and nobody seemed to know the answer today. But yeah, so I'm not sure how that works. If you know, please put the answer in the comments. So we're going to go back to this. So at the top, there's my options, departure and return, maximum stops, airline, all. Now we're going to put in our details of where we're flying from and to. So this cruise is on December the 10th at 4 o'clock. So I'm definitely not going to recommend coming in on the day, especially from the West Coast to Port Canaveral. So I'm actually going to select December the 7th here. So we're going to be flying from San Diego to Orlando on December the 7th. Now on the right-hand side there, on the way back, oh, by the way, it only allows you to do economy. if you want to upgrade to a different level of flight, you would have to call into the airline to do that once you've booked. On the way back, on the opposite side there, you've got leaving. The cruise gets back in on December the 16th, so we're going to come back the same day. But definitely don't recommend leaving in the morning. So I always recommend leaving in the afternoon of the day you come back. So we're going to put from 1 o'clock on to come back. So there you go. December the 7th leaving, coming back on the 16th after 1 o'clock. But we're leaving anytime on the 7th because we probably just want to do the earliest flight we can because, as you know, West Coast to East Coast with a time delay, you're going to be in late no matter what, probably. And you're going to come up with this screen while it searches for your departure flights. Once it's found them, you're going to come up to this screen. We have a few different options we're going to run through here. So at the top, it gives you your lowest price. It's a flight leaving non-stop and coming back with one stop, and that's $330 round trip, which is very reasonable. I can promise you that. But be aware of baggage fees and things like that on top of this. So just know that. I know if you have like an Alaska Airlines card, for example, I believe that if you book it with that, you get one bag for free and stuff. So there's definite perks to certain airlines if you're used to them. The shortest flight is 2 non-stops, $59 extra. I don't know about you, but I would definitely take that over the other one because after a long week of cruising and drinking on the Cheers package, I just want to get home. So I think the $59 extra would be worth it for me. But, also note what time they leave, though. They're not leaving until 5:10 in the afternoon and 5:20 in the afternoon. So that's a long time in the airport. And, side tip, you cannot check your bags in until I think it's 4 hours before your flight. So you'd be sitting at the airport waiting with your bags until about 1 o'clock, 1:10, before you could even check in. So just bear that fact in mind as well. Now, underneath, you'll see there was 37 flights found. You got further filters if you want to. You got fare type, flexible or restricted. I'll cover that in a second. Stops, non-stop, 1 stop, 2 stops, and it gives you the cheapest prices there. Non-stop, the cheapest. Never really understood that, but why wouldn't you want to go non-stop if it's cheaper? And then the cost of the different airlines. So these are the 4 airlines that they found: Alaska, American, Delta, and Southwest. And they're the prices. Even though Southwest seems like it's a lot more expensive, again, factor in baggage prices if you don't get free bags on those other airlines. Now, underneath there, you've got departure time. Oh, they had United as well. Sorry, I missed that. United as well as Southwest. And then you've got departure times, whether you want to go in the morning, in the afternoon, and the evening, and the cheapest prices on there. So on the opposite side of there, you'll see it gives you the option of flexible or restricted fares. Just to go over the differences between the two, and this makes no sense to me whatsoever because, as you can see, restricted is actually more expensive than flexible. You would think flexible would be more expensive because wouldn't it make sense that that's better? And if you look at this, you'll see that it really is. So with flexible, air payment is not required till your final cruise payment. You have to book at least 4 days before your cruise begins, or 321 days at the earliest. You can change your flights without any penalties or service fees prior to 60 days before cruise departure. But depending on the flight you selected, the ticket cost may change. So imagine that if you compare that to a cruise, it's like changing your cruise, but you have to use a different rate code offer because the one you used when you booked it has changed. Like the flight price might change, but there's no penalty fees for doing it. But if you do flight changes within 60 days of the sailing, they're subject to a $200 per person service fee. And additional air costs may apply back to that whole rate code change on the cruise. And name changes are not permitted. Now, with restricted fares, full payment is required at time of flight confirmation. By the way, you get Fly2Fun travel protection on both of these. Book at least 4 days to 321 like before, but all flight purchases and charges are non-refundable. With flexible, you've got up to 60 days prior to the cruise to change with no penalty. Changes to flight schedules are subject to carrier availability, fare restrictions, and change fees. Name changes are not permitted, and air payment is required within 2 hours of flight confirmation. To avoid air cancellation, go to booking details and view balance details to complete payment when you're finished with this. So as you can see, just reading over that, flexible is way better than restricted fares, but also they were cheaper than the restricted fares on the examples we gave you. As you can see there, flexible $329, restricted $407, and non-refundable. Makes no sense. Anyway, At the top in the middle there, that's where you've got your other sort options. You can go fare price, high to low, low to high, flight durations, departure time. So you can click on any of those that you want to select the flight that you want to do. So we're going to select that first one because, just because it's there. Now we can select our return flight. It's going to do the exact same thing. You've got your flexible options is at 0. I'm not even going to show you restricted because we pretty much know we're going to do flexible. It makes no sense not to. We're going to do the fare low to high. So, that's what we're doing here. So we're going to select that first one right there. So we're coming back at 5:20 with a non-stop flight. Again, we've specifically asked for non-stops on the left-hand side to filter it out because and that is the only non-stop available if you wanted to do that. But if you want to fly a bit earlier, you're going to have to look at 1 stop or 2 stops. So we have now selected both our flights, out and back. So we're leaving at, actually it's a red eye, so we're leaving at 10:20 on the 6th of December and arriving at 6 a.m. on the 7th on an Alaska Airlines non-stop flight. And then we're coming back on the non-stop one, like I said. So your total payment due for 2 people, $777.16, which is very, very reasonable for 2 people. So if you like the look of all that stuff, and by the way, that includes taxes and fees. If you like the look of all that, you're now going to hit on the Book Now button. And before you do that, it's going to give you your seat selection. I was told before that they never actually allowed you to do this. You had to, and you couldn't even call the airline straight afterwards. You would have to wait until the actual flight time and hope you could get the seat choices you wanted. But no, they allow you to do this now. And if they don't allow you to do it right on here, and my friend just booked one, we're going to Australia next year, and he's flying out on Qantas. He did this same procedure with Fly2Fun to book it. And even though he couldn't book the flight on that one online, he was able to call the airline immediately after he booked it and get his flight sorted out because he wanted an aisle seat. So as I understand it, sometimes you can, sometimes you cannot reserve the seats. I guess a lot depends on the airline, but you can call the airline immediately and get that done if you want to, because my friend did it. So we're going to go through and select our seats. They got the premium ones available as well, as you can see, with the cost and everything like that. Now, after that, you are going to fill out some privacy notices and all that good stuff. Give your email and your phone numbers and what that is not my phone number, so don't try and call it. Don't even know where that number came from. But yeah, you got all that good stuff you can put in there. And then more terms and conditions. You got the flexible air note. And then the airline liability limitations. And then you have the baggage and other fees. You can click on the airline to check what all of their baggage and all those fees are going to be. All right, there you go. That's Fly2Fun with Carnival, how it works if you want to book it. I mean, it doesn't hurt to look if you're looking at flights because, like I said, those prices were very competitive with what I was seeing online. And I'm one of these people that looks everywhere for flights for the cheapest one. Domestically, we do always fly Southwest because we need a lot of bags. And for you add in bag costs, it's up there. So Southwest always offers 2 free flights. But for international flights, I might start looking at this going forward. So and all the all the cruise lines do it. So whether you're on Celebrity or whatever, might be worth taking a look. All right, I won't go into any more boring, monotonous waffling about it. You got the gist of what it was. You got my opinion on it, which is indifferent. But I think it's worth considering. That's my opinion. So if you want to subscribe to my lovely little channel, please do so. If you click that little bell, then you will get notified when my videos come out. I try and do a tips video every Monday. So send me your tips. I will use them. I will not read them in advance. You have been warned. I react as I record. Also, if you have any questions, my email is coming up at the end of this video. Please send me your questions. And every Thursday I put out a video with a cabin, and every Saturday a video like this. It's what I try and do. So you get 3 videos a week from me for free. Boom! Whether you disagree with me or not, just humor me and pretend you do. All right, with that, I will see you later, Cruising World. Email me anytime, cruisingsuitguy@gmail.com. I promise I'll reply as soon as possible. Want to book a cruise or any type of travel? We are travel agents. check out our site, elitetravelconnection.com, or email me, mick@elitetravelconnection.com. We are here for you. Finally, subscribe, please. Pretty please. You know you want to. Go on. I won't beg you. Okay, I'm begging. Please. Subscribe. Thank you.